every day. Amazing. To Deb and their staff. On October 3rd of 2000, I had the privilege of meeting Jenee Walker for the first time. And she walked into my office with this radiant smile, stuck her hand out and said, "Hi, I'm Jenee." And I had no idea how much my life was going to change because of that introduction. But I want to introduce you to this incredible lady. I'm so honored, and thank you to the board for giving me this privilege today. When I was shocked 2 years ago, and some of the board members got with me and told me that I was going to be a recipient of this award, truly the very first thought that came to my mind is, why would I receive this award when there are people like Jenee Walker in this world? So I'm so honored to get to be the person to introduce her today. Jenee comes to us from Compton, California, what she calls the hood of all hoods. Her words, not mine. And she came because she was following a man, and he's still here. And thank you, Bob Walker, for bringing this lovely lady to us, because we're blessed because of her. If you asked her what her roles in life would be, she would start by saying, "I'm a wife, and I'm a mother to these 3 beautiful, wonderful children who grew up way too fast, and you should still be 7 years old." She's a physician. She's an amazing friend. She's an author, a community leader, a leader in her faith community, and she has been a mentor to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. There is this genuineness in Jenee Walker that is unmatched. And we talk in the psych world about having unconditional positive regard for others, but she emulates that with every breath she takes. My friend Kathleen Walker, who's here, who got to meet Jenee through this process, said, "Oh, I just want to sit down beside her and just snuggle up against her and just pick her brain." And we all have that feeling because you just can't get enough. And we laughed and said our patients never left unless they died or moved away, because you just can't get enough of her. Every time you're in a conversation with her, you feel like you're the most important, significant person in the world, because that's how in tune she is to the people she encounters. Because of her, I've grown professionally. I have laughed with her, we've cried, we've celebrated births, we've buried people we love dearly. We've shared the challenges of motherhood and compared things and made sure neither of us were crazy, which of course we were. But Victor Hugo is credited with saying, "When you love another person, you see the face of God." And when you encounter Jenee Walker, you encounter grace. And she is known, and my CAMC friends that are in the room will know this, trust the process. And she said that to me so many times, and I hear those words and so grateful that I've been able to know her and follow her wisdom. So please join me today in welcoming this very deserving woman, Dr. Jenee Walker. Congratulations.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All I can say is, oh my, my, my. Denise, thank you for the beautiful words. You know you're loved by me. I am humbled and honored to be here in the presence of such beautiful honorees and all of you. And you folks are so beautiful and vibrant. I feel your energy today, and I thank you. I thank the YWCA board. I thank my beautiful, empowered staff that I work with. I'm just very, very happy and blessed to be here. Today, I remember the words of Maya Angelou. She says, "I stand as one, but I stand on the shoulders of 10,000. Today, I stand as one, but I stand on the shoulders of 10,000 people. Many of you in this room have lifted me up and brought joy and guidance into my life. And today, I want to point out several of the 10,000 people that I lean on who are here. My Family Resource Center sisters, raise your hands. I lean on them, I depend on them. They allow me to do what I do all day. I appreciate the staff, the administrative staff at CAMC, Andrew Webber, Mary Chris, and all of you who appreciate the importance of mental health and realize being a psychiatrist is so much more than writing prescriptions, but it's compassionate listening. And most of all, not least, I appreciate my beautiful family. My family had to go through some hurdles to get here today. They went through storms, driving through D.C., Robbie and Jared. Can you stand? My beautiful daughter came all the way from California. And Bob, my greatest support, love of my life. Can you stand up? You know, when I think about being a doctor, I dreamed about that when I was an 8-year-old girl from Compton. Yes, indeed, I am straight out of Compton. I don't know if you thought I am. And when I think of where I was and where I am, a song comes to mind that we sang in church. You know, where I go to, we have church. And those words are, when I think about the Lord, how He picked me up, how He turned me around, how He put my feet on solid ground. You know what? It makes me want to shout. Yeah. And today I want to shout, hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. That's the goodness in my life. You know, when I met with Eric Wells to talk about the highlights interview with Jim Strawn, he asked me a question I thought was really important. He says, what would you say or share with someone who would like to be where you are today, or the other honorees, and how do you get over setbacks? And this is what I would share, some of the truths that I have experienced in my life. We, you, I, all of us are all chosen. We are all called with unlimited potential. The gift is up to us if we choose to answer. And I also want to share with you a well-kept secret but a truth. That everybody in this room, I don't care how beautifully clad we are, we all have our turn with difficulty and disappointment. So you never, no matter what you're going to, have to hold your head down or feel like you're inadequate or like you're a failure. You have to realize that within you there is grace and dignity and the ability to stand up and rise with your shoulders back and move straight forward no matter what you're facing. Because remember, the greater the calling, the greater the adversity. So that means many of us have a great calling. As I leave here today, I want to share with you a few things that keep me going, what I share with my patients all day. Number one, know that you are worth it. You are worth it. I give my patients a wristband. When they're discouraged, I see some women that come in downtrodden. I said, you know what, you are worth it. And every time you don't know it, just flip this band and say, I am worth it, and crack your head around. I want you to know that within you, there is true beauty and wisdom and grace, and it comes from within, not from without. Because you know this beauty thing, it changes over time. I was practicing this talk, and I looked on this little video and said, woo! Surely that can't be me. But I know that the beauty I'm talking about that comes from within is ageless. It is timeless. Today I want you to, as you leave here, remember this truth. Create a vision and claim it and clarify it and go after it. And I learned this truth from my parents. You know, we talked about, I stand here and I stand on the shoulder of 10,000. At my table there are 2 empty seats. And if my parents were here, they would be there. Hands down. My father, I'm not sure if he graduated from high school, but he was the proudest man I know. He used to say, cover the ground you're standing on. And who you are and what you are will show up anyway. He wore a shirt and tie every day to work at a junkyard. He called it a car lot, but it was really a junkyard. And my beautiful mother, she was sitting here in her wheelchair. She'd have on her red tam cap, her black coat, and her purse, which she always kept on her lap. And she would have tears streaming down her face because we're criers. And she would just say, sis, all I am or ever hope to be, I owe to my beautiful mother. And one of the works and the truths that I strive to remember, and I want you ladies particularly to hold and embrace this as we think about the model of the YWCA Empowering Women. My mother taught me that I could do anything and be anything. And growing up in Compton, the only doctor I knew was a pediatrician. And so when I went to college, I was the only black female in an all-white university sitting on an amphitheater filled with lack of confidence, feeling totally inadequate. And I remember sitting there spazzing out. I tell this story often. For my first chemistry test, you know you have to do well in chemistry to become a doctor. And I remember just, I can't do this. I'm not smart enough. Everybody's smarter. And guess what? I failed. Not only did I fail with 36%. That's a major failure. And I remember sitting in an amphitheater, and this doctor named Dr. Zaw came down. He says, he was making comments. He used to spit when he talked. He had black hair and glasses. He was bald. He said, if you want to be a doctor, that's a joke. If you want to help people be a farmer and grow food, he took my test like a piece of trash and dropped it in my lap. I sat there feeling powerless. I sat there feeling inadequate. And I remember sitting there, remembering my mother at her typewriter, early in the morning in high school year, trying to get her college degree. I remember seeing my father in his shirt and tie in the pouring rain in California, trying to get those junk cars started. I remember traveling to Kansas to visit my grandparents and my great aunt and uncle, who were servers on the Santa Fe Railroad as waiters. And every Christmas they put on their dinner jackets and their bow ties and serve us a dinner on the fancy chip china from the Santa Fe that they had bought. And I remember the elegance and the grace and the determination. And I said to Dr. Zog, whether or not I become a doctor, it doesn't matter. But everyone deserves respect and dignity. And one day I'm going to come and put my MD on your desk. To get into 5 medical schools. I got into Vanderbilt. I got in, but it sure was hard to get out. But I made it. And one thing that helped me remember, to always remember and believe you can do anything and be anything, was the words of Marianne Williamson. I don't know if you ever read Marianne Williamson, but she's got some powerful words. And she wrote a book called A Woman's Worth. I don't know if you know if it's in print or not, but if you have a daughter, you need to get that book for her. And what she says, all women are of 3 types. There are women that are slave girls, there are women that are princesses, and there are women that are queens. Slave girls are women who feel inadequate and who are bound and tied by their low self-esteem and a lack of adequacy. And they bound themselves and they do nothing. A princess is someone who knows her power, but she doesn't know how to wield it yet. But a queen, that's what we are, right? A queen is wise. She has learned. No one has given it to her. It has been earned by her through going through the battles and the difficulties of life. And she knowing that no matter what, if she holds on and pushes through, that not only is she going to make it, but everybody she loves is going to make it and push through. Maya Angelou was a queen. Michelle Obama was a queen. And there's a lot of Debbie Weinstein is a queen. In this room, I want every man in this room to know that your daughter, you, your child, your wives are queens. And you know what? We have to remember that we are queens, and we don't have to look to the world or anyone else to crown us, because God has already given us a crown. He just asked that we put it on. And remember, take home lesson, every queen deserves a king. And I got a king. That's why I'm in Charleston, West Virginia today. And do you know how I know he's a king? Sidney Poitier wrote a book called The Measure of a Man. And he said in that book, a measure of a man's worth is reflects on how he takes care of his family. Last night at 10:30, we got a call that Chloe's flight was canceled coming from Charlotte. Now, my daughter's in medical school. She's moved her schedule. She's got a board on Monday. And to come this far and not make it, I had barely canceled out of my mouth. My husband had his coat on, and he was driving to Charlotte. You know what he said? No daughter of mine is going to be sitting on an airport floor all night. I'm going to get my girl. And you know what? That kind of reminds me of God's love. Sometimes we feel like our life is canceled or on hold. But you know what God says? For any opportunity that seems closed, I'm coming for you, and I will take you from where you need to be to where you need to go. You don't have to worry. My mother would say, and these are powerful words, I never did forget this. She said, some things in life, sis, you just have to do quietly. She often said that when we were shopping, like leave the bag in the trunk. I've expanded that. I don't do that, Bob. I have expanded that, and sometimes in life, if you have a dream, if you have a goal, this is for everyone. If you don't have anyone that believes it or embraces it, just do it. I tell my patients all the time, just do it quietly. Sometimes you have to affirm and validate, not from without, but from within, and know with God all things are possible. We have to be a blessing. Maya Angelou says we have to be a rainbow in somebody's clouds. We have to not ask what God can do for us. We need to ask Him, what can I do for other people? As is the mission and the mandate of the YWCA. And above all, we have to trust the process. And I know my time's up, but I'm going to tell you what trust means. And I share it with my pages. Number one, T, you got to talk to God when you got a problem. R, you got to rely on Him no matter what. You got to understand that things happen in life you're not going to understand. And with S, sometimes you just got to surrender and let it go. And with T, you have to give thanks. Always keep a place of gratitude. You know, sometimes we all feel stuck. You ever felt stuck? And I sit on this hallway. I'm not stuck on my hallway, Kelly, okay? But it's a small hallway, and I've been sitting on that hallway for like 17 years. I counted it this week. 27 steps up, 27 steps back. From my office to the lobby. And sometimes, you know, my patients are my life. They are my blessings. And sometimes I've been able to make a difference. And sometimes I've had heartbreak because sometimes I couldn't help or fix it. And sometimes I felt powerless. And I said, what good am I doing? I mean, I was just so hurt when I couldn't help people that I care about. And Oprah, you know, I was supposed to have lunch with Oprah and Maya, but Maya died. So I'm still hoping to hook up with Oprah one day. She doesn't know it. But Maya said something. Oprah said, you know what, I have arrived. I've gone to South Africa, I'm opening a school for girls, and finally, I'm going to leave my legacy. And you know what Maya said? She looked at her and said, oh, my dear girl, you have no idea. She says, don't you know that your legacy is made by every single life you touch? That is powerful. That means every single one of us have a chance to leave a legacy through a smile, a word of encouragement, with every single life we touch. And as I leave here today, I want you to know that the baton is not only in my hands, it's in your hands, to represent you with your families. And what keeps me going, what helped me to push through when I lost my beautiful mother, when I thought I couldn't survive or breathe, I envisioned my mother and my grandmother putting that baton in my hand, and we were running the race, and she passed it to me and said, sis, remember the children. Keep pressing. We're going to get there together. We're going to make it. And I want to, when I'm no longer, to leave the baton in my kids' hands, that they have such a gap and such a level of grace and confidence and belief in themselves that when I'm no longer there to cheer them on, that they can run that race and know with God all things are possible. And as I close today, I want you to remember the words of a powerful life lesson I heard on the Olympics. I was watching the cross-country winners of the gold medal. You know what they said? Did you hear that interview on NBC? It was like a cutting hair finish. And they said, what made you push through? Because you barely won. You know what that cross-country track runner said? Because I knew somebody that I loved was waiting for me at the finish line. I don't know about you, but I'm going to make it to that finish line. Because I'm going to meet my mother, and I'm going to meet my grandparents, and you're going to meet your parents and your grandparents. And we're going to remember that it's important that every day we celebrate this gift of life. On our wall at the FRC, there's a sign that says, celebrate life. And it wasn't until I lost my beautiful mother I realized that life really does have a tangible endpoint. We have a finite time here. And we have this gift of every morning having breath. As we look at our hands, we have to keep them open to not only but to give, but to receive and give blessings. And as I leave here today, I want to thank you all for this wonderful, kind award. I'm so humbled and so honored. And I want to say goodbye. This is the way I tell my beautiful daughter, Chloe, goodbye. I talk to her at least 5 times a day. And every day we say, okay, it's good talking to you. Have a happy day. Have a lovely day. Make it fabulous. Make it magnificent. You know what Chloe told me one day? She says, Mom, we need to have a day like Oprah. I said, what kind of day does Oprah have? She says, she has a delicious day. I said, a delicious day? I said, oh, I don't think I have many of those. But if I have a delicious day, you know what? I want to have sprinkles on top. And today, to all of you, I want to say thank you so much for making my day delicious.